Welcome to the stream.
Hey guys.
So yeah, we're just gonna get right into questions. So you got fifth place on Kaoh Rong. That's a lot more than a lot of people can say. That's really good.
Yeah, definitely.
um, so first question. How were you cast for the show? Like, were you recruited or did you apply?
No, I applied.
Whoa.
Rudy, Rudy Bosch, the former Navy SEAL, show one.
Yeah.
I live about 12 miles from Navy SEAL Museum, which is in Fort Pierce, Florida, and I met Rudy through. I was a naval officer, and I met Rudy through an event down there in 2014. And he said, Joe, he said, you know what? He said, Probst hasn't had a guy over 70 on since me, which was 15 years. He said, you ought to send in a tape, and they probably like it. You know, you got a background FBI, a Navy guy, blah, 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 blah. So I did, and that began the process, which was about 6 months long, until I finally was standing on a mat in Kaoh Rong, Cambodia, and looking at Probst.
Wow,
That's
that's
really
awesome.
cool. um,
So it was a very long process, and I got to thank CBS for giving me a shot, and Jeff Probst too.
That's really cool.
yeah, that is really cool.
So the second question is, what made you want to be on Survivor?
Well, again, I'm kind of a guy that likes challenges, and I'm always looking for something new. So I had watched the show initially, actually had applied to show number one in 2000.
Really?
Whoa.
I watched it
Wow.
for a couple of years,
Awesome.
and then I thought, well, this would be something neat. Can I do it? Can I be 20 some or 30 some, or how many days am I going to last out there with a lot of young people? Am I going to be able to communicate with the younger people and see if I could do it? And I thought I could. Because I was in the FBI, one of my duties, I was a hostage negotiator. I could negotiate and talk to people. And I thought, hey, if I can negotiate someone out of a life death situation, I certainly can talk to people who have a little sand in their pants and are a little hungry. So I figured
That's how
that,
you did pretty good.
Yeah,
so,
you did pretty well
so
at
that's
that.
why I wanted to do it, kind of a bucket list to see if I still had it in me physically, mentally, to be able to do something like that. Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Um. Okay. Next question. How long have you been? You said sorry. So first you said, how many times did you apply? Because you said you applied for season one. Did you apply for every season after that?
No. Season one, back in the old days, was a big VHS tape, and that was it. Didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Did not apply again. And then at Rudy's probing, I sent online. You submit that tape online,
Yeah.
and and then you also there's a little like pre-application thing. So they apparently like what they saw, and then it started the process. One of the things you're told in the beginning is it's a long process. So until you're on the mat, wherever it is in the world that you get sent, and then you made it. Otherwise, anything could happen in the interim.
Fascinating.
So
Yeah.
I kind of kept that in mind the whole time.
That's pretty good to get on in your second application though.
I know, right?
Well, again, I think it was because of the age thing, and I was pretty fit. You had to send them the video, and in the video, I was doing kind of fit stuff as well as part of my videotape was challenging Mark Burnett and Probst to put me on the show because they hadn't had a guy on in 15 years. It was over 70. I was the second guy in the history of the show. Now, Rudy has me beat age-wise by about 6 months at the time of filming. He was 72. I became 72 during our filming. So he'll always hold that probably. Unless I get called back at 75, he was also, but after the birthday, and get called back and be the oldest guy ever on the show. And I think we're at about 500 cast members that have been on the show in the past 16 years.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah,
I can
I
see
think
it
it's
now. Hashtag doing a jive at 75.
Hey, I like that. I like that. That's good.
I'm gonna copyright that. Not really.
It'd be really cool to see you back on like Heroes versus Villains or something.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. So
So,
anyway, if the producers are listening, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Anytime, I'm
Bring
packing
Joe
my
back.
bag.
Like bring Joe Del Campo back.
Oh,
Okay.
I'd love to go back.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Okay. Question number 4. What was your feeling when you found out you were going to be on Survivor?
Well, when it's fine because again, it's really right before the process is over that you find out because there's always a test, and then the doctors and because I was over 72, I had to go, cardiologist stuff and do all that, and you always holding your breath and waiting, and they tell you, okay, well, you're at this point in the process and this point, but don't count on anything. So when I found out, I mean, it was real feeling of elation that, oh man, I'm really going to do it.
Yeah.
And then when you really feel it, even you're traveling, it takes you forever to get there, like 30 some hours of fly out of LA and over, blah 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 blah. You get to feel that day that we hit the beach on that first challenge for the boats. We had to put that boat thing together,
Yeah.
and I'm looking, and there's Jeff Probst in front of me. I was like, holy mackerel, this is it. And then you see how big it is
Wow.
because we don't see on television the whole behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know, between 80 and 90 people there, all different kinds
My
of
goodness.
electricians and camera people and grips and the guys in the water
Yeah.
and doctors, staff. It's amazing, and lighting people. And it's just like, holy mackerel, this is really big.
What blows
But
my mind is that you never see any of them on television. Like
I know,
no,
they're
right?
out of every shot.
the only time you saw part of it was when Caleb went down that day, and everybody and Debbie, and
Yeah.
Sid,
Yeah. Got to show.
and that was the first time in history to show where they actually brought water out to the cast members because normally we have these little jugs or a little something
Yeah.
that you carry your water in, but that was the first time in the history of the show because of what had happened. Of course, the first time in history of the show in one challenge, they lost three people that went down.
Yeah, that was
Uh, so,
insane.
so it was a
That was
difficult
crazy.
day. Yeah. So you got to
It's
see
like,
people running around,
Yeah.
doing stuff
yeah,
that were
the
part of
community was like
the crew.
so emotional at that point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Caleb and stuff. It was quite sad.
Okay, speaking of Caleb's evacuation, was that as hectic as it was shown on TV?
Very hectic. Because
Yeah.
what happened, we had finished. If you remember back now, Debbie, after we had won, Debbie, she started going out, and I recognized her signs that she was going heat stroke, and she didn't want me to call Probst because she was afraid that she would be yanked. And I knew that she was in bad shape, and that's when I put my hand up and said, Jeff, we got a problem. Came over, Dr. Joe came over, started taking care of her, and then Caleb winds up going down, and then everything hit the fan, so to speak. And then
Yeah.
Sid goes down, and then that's when he said, get out here, get water. All the medical crew were rushing around, call for the helicopter. I mean, it was quite chaotic. I mean, organized chaos, but like
Must
that
have
had
been-
never happened
That seemed
that big
terrifying.
before ever.
Yeah, it must have
And
been
yeah,
scary.
Caleb was in a hospital, for a while. It was really, really serious. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's well now. God bless him. I
Yeah.
saw him last weekend at a charity event.
Oh, really?
A bunch
Awesome.
of us were over in Celebration, Florida, for Give Kids the World. That's a village over there. They bring in children from all over the world, actually, who have life-threatening diseases. And there were approximately 100 of us from a bunch of reality shows, including Survivor. And we're there signing autographs for the people. And so it was a great event. So I got to see Caleb. He looks good, doing well. He's married now, and
Awesome.
All that kind of stuff. So
It's very
That
good
was really
talk.
cool.
So the next question is.
Wait,
which
hold on.
cast-
I want to ask something.
Oh, sorry.
During that whole thing, were they thinking they were gonna like actually lose Caleb? Was that a possibility?
well, when you say lose, you mean out of the game or
Or
die?
die?
Again, I'm not a doctor, and I mean, I've seen kind of heat stroke in the past. Can be very serious, but they were on him. Boom, they're on him. They give him the IV. He's getting fluids, put in oxygen and everything like that.
Yeah.
But it's like anything else. He pushed himself beyond what the body could handle, and not realizing that he did. So he was pretty sick. So I think everybody was scared that I don't know what the doctor was thinking. I mean, he's the medical person, and certainly we're just civilians there. But I don't know if they thought that or not. I do know that they took it very seriously. That's why they evacuated him by helicopter. So
Yeah.
what the thoughts were, we weren't thinking that. I don't think that seriously. Just that, wow, he's been pulled from the game, and it's really, to all of us, it's a loss. Even though that person is your competitor, certainly my competitor,
Mhm.
you still don't want to see anybody go out that way. Just like the same thing with Neil.
Exactly.
You don't want to see somebody pulled because of a medical thing, and then of course me.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it was serious, but I don't think any of us were thinking he was going to die. It was just that wow, now it certainly throws a wrench into the mix, so to speak.
Yeah. You weren't allowed, like the other two tribes weren't allowed to go over to the beauty, right?
No,
Okay.
no,
Yeah.
no. At that, let me think. Where were we at that stage? Had we done the switch yet, or
No,
no?
it
That
was
was at
still
the very
the
beginning.
three. Hello?
Hey?
Did Joe cut out?
We can't hear you. Sure. Oh dear, the call dropped.
Oh, okay.
Oh rip.
Okay, we're gonna call Joe back.
Okay. Hello?
Hello? Okay. Joe's not back yet.
Nope.
Okay.
This is cool.
Oh, hello?
Oh, hey Joe.
Are you there?
Yeah, okay.
I lost you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened?
All right.
Okay, we're back.
Next question.
Okay, the next question. Which castaway did you have the strongest connection with, and which did you have the least strongest connection with?
Which what did I have? What connection? I'm
Which
sorry.
contestant did you have the strongest connection with?
Well, I think you probably knew that Aubrey and I had a very strong connection. Debbie, initially, Debbie and I, when Aubrey was still kind of like with Neil the first couple days-ish, but then after that, it was Aubrey.
Mm-hmm.
And toward the end of the game, when there were only 5 of us left, Michelle and I had struck up a friendship based on her dad's a former law enforcement officer. She's a Jersey girl. I was in Philly, the seashore, and Jersey seashore. So, we became friends. But the closest, and, even, today pretty much, Aubrey. Personally, outside the game now, and then certainly in the game.
Cool.
Did you
Wait,
have the, like,
you
least
were...
strongest?
I didn't... Oh, sorry. Your friendship with Michelle wasn't really shown on the show very much.
Well, no, because we weren't talking strategy when their producers are interested in what's going to make the show interesting, and certainly sitting there talking about what kind of cold cereal you like, or what's your favorite bar in New Jersey is not going to get you that kind of time. But if we were plotting, then you would have seen that. But this was really toward the end, and it was just kind of chit chat, friendly conversation, and that's why you didn't see it. And we're exactly, and we're still friends today.
Oh, that's cool.
You guys follow her. I don't know if you do or not on Facebook, Twitter, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And who did you have like the least strongest connection with? Like, who did you dislike the most?
Well, I think it's been now. If you watch the my Ponderosa, you'll see Jason. He said we had tough times,
Yeah.
and we did, and there was stuff certainly that was not on camera because words were spoken.
Really?
We didn't want the 9-year-olds to 10-year-old kids.
Oh my!
Yeah,
You guys,
because
like,
we're pretty strong personality, both of us, and
Yeah.
he had opinion and I had an opinion, and of course those two guys with pouring the water on the fire, stealing our utensils and other things like that, and him griping about me with the fire, and
Yeah.
during the game it kind of rubbed both of us. I probably was his worst nemesis, and during the game he was mine, but we kissed and made up. Once you cross over into back to the civilian world of Ponderosa and you're not in the game anymore, unless you're a weirdo, you look at each other and say, hey, good game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go have a cocktail or something.
When I wrote this question, I thought for sure you were going to say Peter.
Yeah, me too.
No, this was the thing with Peter. Again, with Peter, that day I had my confrontation. All I wanted him to do was say, yeah, because it's part of the game. I said, I don't care. And he, and again, as a former interrogator in the FBI, when I asked him that question, you could see his face. I mean, he was guilty.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't need a jury there. He was guilty. And the funny thing about Peter is he thought that I had voted him out, but I had shaken hands with him in the water, and I said, "Look, I won't vote you out." And because it was Aubrey who had written down Pete, he always wanted to be called Peter and not Pete.
Oh.
So for a whole year until he saw that episode, he thought it was me that voted him out.
Oh,
And here it was Aubrey.
Wow.
And I saw him, during the final. I said, "See, I told you." And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was you." And I said, my word is my bond, and that's the trouble. Loyalty in that game can come back and bite you, because you kind of at the end, you might have to throw somebody under the bus, but it's just, how do you do that? Do you do it gently, or you stab and turn a knife?
Exactly.
So I didn't get to that point where I really had to, vote somebody out that I might have cared for. Say like Aubrey or Michelle or Sid. We didn't get to that point.
Yeah. Huh. That's really interesting.
Wait, after hearing that you had a bond with Michelle, did you ever consider voting for her to win?
Voting for her to win?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle.
Well, kind of pledged that Aubrey and I were going to go. Now, again, now with Aubrey, during some of these secret interviews, or the ones that were deleted and didn't get on the TV.
Yeah.
Her and Ty one day. I don't know if you saw that one. Ty was saying, "Well, Joe's becoming a problem," and Aubrey said, "Yeah, he's becoming a problem." Would she have maybe offered me up? I don't know. Maybe. Now, I didn't feel that way.
Huh.
So if I had given my word to her, which I had, then I wouldn't have said those things. But she's a game player. She played the game, I think, the way most of the hardcore people that watch the show, like it to be played.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And again, it was a game. I know there have been hard feelings, at least I've seen on Twitter and stuff, about Michelle, and they think Aubrey should have won. But you know what? She did win.
Mm-hmm.
She came up in the end, kind of a dark horse. She won the challenges. She won that extra vote thing, and because of that, she walked away the winner. So, as you know, with Survivor, things can happen in a hair of a second, split second, and people think one way, and the next thing, they're gone. They think they're gonna not get voted out, and all of a sudden, you're blindsided. Holy mackerel, that happens.
We have. Oh, sorry about that. We have a question from the chat. He said.
I'm ready.
Okay, he said. Red Man says, "Hey Joe, you wiped the floor with guys half your age at age 70. How well could you have done if you had competed in your prime? Surely you would have kicked serious ass."
Well, tell Redman I thank you very much. I don't know. Again, I felt good about my performance. I wish I could have been in front of the pack. But these are 72-year-old legs, or 71, almost 72. I wanted them to go faster, but, I kind of was just plodding along there. Wanted to make it to the end. I didn't want to, do maybe what Caleb did, push myself beyond what my body could do.
Yeah.
Even though, mentally I thought that. And so there was one of the challenges, I think you guys, if you watched that one, was where they had to run in the water, climb over that obstacle, swim out to that platform, memorize those symbols and numbers, and come back. Well, by the time I got back, the two girls were already, and I had screwed up, and I would have had to run back out. Probst comes by, and I was pretty winded, and he said, "Joe, what's up, Joe?" And I said, "I ran out of gas." And it just, could I have ran back into the surf again? Yeah, but I was really, really tired. So I thought, well, I could, just to do it. But I didn't want to push myself to exhaustion, or
worse,
pass out, or do what happened with Caleb, and come up short.
You probably made the smarter move there.
Well, I guess as an older guy, I'm trying to think, okay, I want to last longer. So if I push it now and they, something happen and get pulled, I didn't want that to happen. Yeah. And it was seconds later that Michelle beat Julia in that thing. So it would have been, I don't know, I might have only gotten about 10 feet into the surf, but whatever. But that was the only one where I just, and of course, the one I won, as you know, everybody was waiting like, geez, I don't know, it might have been a couple of minutes by the time I get back out of the woods and down the hill, back to the platform. But it was the old tortoise in the hare. I mean, they were fleet-footed. They would, if I had missed, we would have had to set that whole thing up again, and redone it to get the bags and fill the bags, so everybody had a straight shot. So I consider myself very fortunate that I was able to wish that last bag in, and it made it.
That was awesome. That was my favorite moment.
I was extremely happy. That was a tough one too, because it was an uphill run, probably 100 yards into the woods, and then up the ladder into the woods to get the bags down, and then back down again.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good one. So again, I wish I was 30 years old, and back in those days I could run like a deer, and had a lot more stamina and stuff. And I did pre-game. I mean, I worked out. I ran and everything like that. I wasn't running through the surf, but
Yeah.
But I was jogging, and I still had a respect that my heart and my mind are not all that. I still was 71 years old. So. But I still think like a kid. I still, I have joy that I've been fortunate enough to be pretty healthy.
Yeah.
I had shoulder surgery when I came back. I had rotator cuff.
Really?
It wasn't because of the game, but during the game, I mean, it was just a wear and tear. Two retracted tendons and a bicep tendon had to be replaced and everything like that. So I was out of commission for about 6 months after we got back. And I just really now getting back working out and stuff like that. That operation actually was in January.
Awesome.
But I'm back to being Joe, kind of looking like I did, in the pictures there. So anyway,
what was the hardest and most enjoyable part for you on the island, of your time on the island?
Well, the hardest would have been a couple. A couple of the challenges, like the one that was brutal, the one digging those bags out of the sand. We were out there about an hour and 20 minutes when Caleb went down. And the high, it was 118 degrees that day.
That was
just
insane.
Brutal. It was brutal.
I know, right?
And then some of the other ones, as far as the running and swimming and stuff like that. So the challenges were a challenge for me. They were not easy. But I enjoyed them because it was fun to be able to push yourself and be able to do it. The best thing were when we had the rewards. So when we had the switch and we got food. Then when we won the one challenge, actually the digging thing, that was nice. We got some nice things with that. I think we had coffee and some cheese and meat and things like that. And then merge. It's always good to get food like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I had lost 20 pounds. We were living on some shellfish, some clams, some mussels, and coconuts and water. By the time I had won that challenge, I had lost 20 pounds. I looked skeletal. And in fact, I was sending in stuff on Twitter and pretty much every other day. But one where you have to hold the plates out to the side, and I think I said, how many groups do we have? Is it 12 or 8 side? And, made a joke about it because I looked emaciated. I looked like I came out of a war camp or something. But, so anyway, the food was good, and the challenges were tough. Otherwise, it was great.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Wait, okay, the next question. Have you eaten beef since you've been off the island?
Well, I have, and it was funny. About 6 weeks ago, we have a Thai restaurant in where I live in Vero Beach.
A Thai restaurant.
Thai. That's funny. You're right. There you go. And they have these little satay. It's beef satay. It's like on a little stick, little tiny things. So I held them up, 5 of them in front of my face, and I said, "Here's the beef," or something like that. People kind of commented on Twitter that it was kind of funny. But I'm not a big man. I might eat a hamburger once, I don't know, every couple months or something. I like fish and I like veggies and things. And, so I was never a real big meat eater. If I did like a steak, I like a fillet. There's no bones and no fat. So I'm not a big proponent of beef. I like pork. I eat pork once in a while and chicken.
Question from the chat. Corinne Lowe says, "Are you and Aubrey still in contact?" You said you were, right?
Absolutely, yes. Saw Aubrey. Well, last weekend was the weekend before that we were down. This past weekend, I've been up here in North Carolina. Um, saw her that weekend before, and we have been friends. She has actually stayed with Linda and me at our place down in Vero Beach, Florida, and she's a very, very nice girl. I'm kind of like a dad to her, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, she's actually way younger than my youngest son. So Aubrey's only 30
Really?
now, I think, and my youngest son is like 41. So
Wow.
um, yeah,
It's like an
big
extra
difference.
daughter.
Yeah, this is the daughter I never had. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
All right. When Scott and Jason were hiding the machetes, did they do more things behind the scenes that didn't get aired on the show?
Well, pretty much that was it. But there was a lot of, the talk
Yeah.
back and forth and kind of put down some things that did not make the air. Just so you got to realize those cameramen are with us day and night, and they're not filming day and night, but they're with us day and night. So you see one show, and you have whittled down the 3 days. So in between challenges, it's basically every 3 days. They might throw a reward challenge in. So that's 72 hours of potential filming, reduced down to 42 minutes on air. So they got to pick and choose what they want as far as what's going to be exciting, what's going to be interesting, what you guys are going to like, and it just they can't show everything. So I mean, there were things like Debbie wind up and then never made the air because they got angry at it. Debbie wind up stealing, I think, Scott's undershorts, their pillows, and hiding them, but she was all mad, and. So that kind of stuff went on, but that did not make the airtime. So there was a lot of little things like that. But you saw pretty much the majority of what was interesting and what mattered or what would have made a difference. Like pouring the water on the fire. That was a big deal. Or taking the utensils. That was a big deal. I mean, we had nothing, And then Sydney came up with, hey, we'll saw coconuts open. We had old rusty saw there. So we worked it out. Yeah.
All right.
Wait, so was Scott really as much of a bully as he was like shown to be on the episode?
Well, he's 6'11". He's a big guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to, do anything. I mean, he's kind of a scary-looking guy. He's
pretty intimidating.
His hair and everything like that. And actually, Scott's a pretty nice guy. He's a nice individual. But he and Jason teaming up. I mean, they were a duo. They were out to, win, I guess. They were kind of brutish. The way they treated Alicia. I mean, kind of rough and stuff like that. And also Jen. She also had a rough time with those guys. But otherwise, in real life, I hear he's a wonderful guy. I mean, certainly was decent when I went back to Ponderosa, and we were there for the couple of days left before the final travel.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, and he was known in the NBA to be kind of a character with his haircuts and different stuff he had. I don't know if you've seen some of his old pictures and things, but he's a big guy with the charities, and I think he's got something going out in Indiana where he lives with the charities. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Survivor definitely changes you when you're out there. You're definitely different on the island, than you are in real life. Everyone.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to remain as much true to myself as I am in real life. As far as I'm a sociable guy. I tried to do that, even though people are on other tribes and things like that, and I know they complain about me being grumpy and things, but I just I'm different generation. Actually, 2 generations with a lot of people. Almost 40-year difference. A lot of people there, but I think what you saw pretty much was who I am. I think, game playing and otherwise, I was joyous when other people won and happy.
Yeah.
When we won, if it was for something like for us, or even that time that Ty and I were throwing those ring things, and he wanted to throw them first. And he couldn't reach it. And I said, give me the rings. And I got 2 immediately, and I needed to get 3 more. And I think I threw 1 or 2, and then Sid wound up getting it, and they got the helicopter ride and a great beach. But I would have liked to do that. He had never been on a helicopter. If he, if he had let me through the rings first, we might have taken that ride. I don't know, and had a nice lunch. But again, I was happy that the girls got to do it, and I think Sid had not had anything, or one of the girls had not had anything yet. So it was a share thing. Even um, I don't. If somebody I would believe wouldn't have gotten a free something, and then the person who won realized that they hadn't been on anything, I do believe that they would have picked. I know I would have if there was somebody. Okay, Joe, who are you going to pick? Who are you going to take? Um, I would have. Well, for my reward, I would have taken, of course, Aubrey,
Mhm.
and then I said to Aubrey, I want you to pick. Who would you like? And that kind of was for me a strategy kind of move to see who she felt close to and she picked Sid,
Mhm.
and of course then Michelle and Ty, who at that particular time, if you remember, they were kind of on the outs.
Yeah.
They wound up kind of binding, and I think they giving them massages and stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
But
that's funny.
anyway,
Yeah. I was just saying that everybody changes on the island. I wasn't referring to just you.
no, I think so. I mean, yeah, but again, you leave the game behind. At least I did, and I don't know if some people can't, or if some people still have or begrudging,
Yeah.
uh, other people. I don't want to mention names, but there were some strong personalities, and some people, particularly that one tribe, they had some problems there. So whether or not those people are still angry or not, I don't know. But that's them. That's not
Mhm.
me.
Okay. You named the merge tribe Dara, right?
I did.
Why did that mean so much to you?
Well, before going, I thought, if I'm given the opportunity, I make it far enough to where they want to come up with a tribal name. What would be a great name? So I thought, we're under the stars, we're in the open there. Let me look up in the Khmer language, which is Cambodian language,
Mhm.
what the word is for star, and it was Dara, Dara.
Uh,
That day was a big deal because the merge happens. They brought the food out, and then the producers are there, and one of them said, "What are you going to name the tribe?" And he's on with California, and I said, "Dara." It means star in Khmer language, and he put that information back to L.A., and then he said, "Okay, it's a go. It's Dara." And I thought that was a big deal. I thought they'd show more of it, but on TV, all they did was show the girls like kind of writing the name Dara on that flag.
Yeah, I wish they
Um,
showed more of
yeah,
how
me
it
too.
was, how they came to the name.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's one of the hidden interviews where of me. It's on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I saw that
That
one.
was it was my legacy. I said, I got a chance to do something like that, and I thought that I'll always remember that name Dara was Joe's name. So anyway.
Yeah.
That's the
What were
reason
you,
I did it. It had some,
yeah,
to
nice
me,
name.
a symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what were you thinking when Neil was medevac?
Well, actually, I was kind of sad, but I embraced him and kind of a little bit teary eyed because, again, even though he and I kind of never saw the same, we were banging heads all the time when we were on our
Yeah.
original tribe. Brains, but there was respect for one another. And to see a guy being pulled like that, I just I wasn't cutthroat like, oh hell, he's going out great. Yeah, it's one less guy. No, you know what? I thought, well, that could have been me, it just as easy, and I would have felt bad if it were me. Like when they did pull me, I certainly felt bad, and
Yeah.
you don't want to go out that way. You want to go out if you're voted off and you've made it to a certain point and the rest of your tribe mates think, okay, it's time for you to go, and you get voted off, and not
Definitely.
because of an infection. So I was quite touched, and um, in fact he mentioned that when I saw him 2 weeks ago, about he thanked me for when we said goodbye to each other, so to speak,
Wow,
during that
that's nice.
Yeah.
when he took the boat back over, and I think he was over like a day or two over in Cambodia, getting that thing worked on.
Huh.
So, also, were you ever planning on like turning on Aubrey?
Say again, what was that?
Were you ever planning on turning on Aubrey, like voting her out?
No, I never had those feelings that okay, well, how about if I go with so and so, maybe I could do this, or to try and pull like a blind side out or something like that.
Yeah.
And I did not. No. I thought we had a pretty tight alliance. I think that she was very dependent on me. I know that she made comments on camera. Might have been one of the interviews, saying, "Well, geez, first Neil and now Joe."
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But she knew that she could count on me. I was a rock, so to speak, and my word was my bond. And I don't see in my bones that I would have, somebody had like Ty say, "Okay, Joe, how about if we vote out and you, Michelle, and me, or
Yeah.
Sid?" It didn't get to that point.
Sweet.
I don't know who the final three would have been. I knew probably, hopefully, it would have been myself and Aubrey and maybe Ty. Sydney was a good player, and she could have been dangerous had she been around at the end there, because she was very good. Michelle, again, she would have probably been in. If it had been the three again, I don't know, because I was kind of shocked the way the vote did go.
Yeah.
And they voted Michelle, and whether that was against Aubrey, I have no idea. I don't know what people were thinking, but it is what it is, and a lot of people were unhappy with it. And, other people were, and Michelle's happy. I don't blame her. She won. She won fair and square. She won fair and square.
Good for her.
That's it. Good for her. Absolutely. Yeah.
Every winner deserves it.
All right.
That's right.
Next question. How do you spell immunity?
Say again about the immunity.
How do you spell immunity?
Oh, God, come on. Hey, I was doing good because I had like 6 of those letters. It fell down, and then I wound up not putting them in the proper order because we were out there for a while, and then I had fun because I was laughing and all, and I'm looking at John Kierhofer. He's the guy that constructs all that stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, he's there, back behind the cameras, and I went, "Good one, John." And meanwhile, Probst is saying, "And I'll see you at tribal council tonight if you don't hurry." Well, he wasn't laughing though because he's serious. Jeff was serious.
Yeah.
And I had a good time. If I had gotten real serious, I think I could have won it because I knew how to pull on that rope. I got 6. And then after that, I just thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to have fun with this thing. But I got to give Sid credit. I mean, man, she was like laser, man. Boom.
Yeah,
right.
She was like a statue moving just inches at a time. And that's what it took to do that. Because the slightest little wiggle wobble on that rope there, it went down.
You were out to a pretty early lead.
I was
Yeah, no.
I was the lead. I think I had 6. I got to the tee, pretty close.
Oh, yeah.
And then it went down. Soon as Probst said, "And Joe's got a 6," boom. I mean, as soon as he said it was like the jinx. They all fell down. And then dummy me, I'm not setting it up thinking, put IMMUNITY, put it back the proper order, and I guess the heat got to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, Sid won. That was an immunity challenge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was good immunity challenge. Yeah. So,
I really like that challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one. It was actually a simple one, but tricky. As was the domino one. That was a tough one because there was no way. Picking your feet up, putting them down, picking them up, and hitting that little rope thing away, and they went down.
That one looked hard.
That was hard, and Julia won that one, right? I think.
Yeah, she came out from behind.
Yeah. So the tough one, which the behind the neck, grabbing that thing behind the neck, and we're on like that 1-inch dowel stick.
Oh yeah.
That was really tough because again at the time. My shoulder was pretty painful. This was pre-surgery, and it was all torn up. So trying to do that, and then when Probst said, "All right, you got 10 seconds to accept this reward challenge," and then the 3 beefiest guys hopped down like as soon as he said 8, we all went. And I think Michelle was shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
It was just too tempting because pizza is my favorite thing, and man, he brought those pizzas out. Oh my goodness! And I knew that I was not going to land. I was already pretty agony.
Yeah.
Because of the shoulder.
You made a good move because like if you knew you couldn't win, why would you stay up there?
And it went on for about an hour again.
Yeah.
Whoa.
we jumped off in the first 10 minutes or so, I think it was, and that went on for there's no way. I got to give Ty and Sid credit. I mean, they bucked up there, boy, and reached way down inside.
Yeah.
Of course, Ty wound up winning that one. Sid was right close.
Do you think that challenge was more mental or physical?
Both.
Yeah.
I think there's an old saying. It's 10% perspiration, 90% concentration. Inspiration. Inspiration, and I think that's what it takes is heart. Sometimes you go beyond, and then like the Navy SEAL thing, it's you got to reach down inside you. Yes, the physical, but boy, you have to go beyond what you think you can go and just push your body as far as you can. And that's so yeah, it's a combination. You got to want it. You got to, you can't think negative. You got to think positive and just go for it and not give up, not give in, But I gave in for the pizza, but so did the other guys.
Was it worth it?
Was a oh God! And they had these brownies. They were the best brownies I ever had, and chicken, and the drink.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you, I was so frozen that my shoulder, my hand, I couldn't raise my arm. So Sarge, Jason had to pour the drink for me. I couldn't.
Oh yeah.
It took I'd say 10 or 15 minutes until I finally got. I was eating with my left hand till I finally got feeling back. I mean, it was that bad. It was like frozen, looked like a wooden hand. Jeez. Anyway, it was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling when you threw the last sandbag and won that reward?
Of course, as it's going through the air, I mean, you're wishing it, and you have mixed feelings, thinking, is it going to make it? Is it going to make it? Because I literally wished that bag in, and as soon as it hit and Probst threw his hands up, I mean, it was elation. And of course, everybody's jumping around, hugging me and everything like that. And then going down and finally, winning something. I wanted not to walk away empty-handed from that show, and not that it had to be a reward, but win something, show that, you were worthy to be there, even though it took me forever to get back to the platform.
That's awesome.
It was just a thrill. I don't know if you've ever had an event in either of your lives where it's like, oh man, it's really, really thrilling.
Yeah.
Well, that was for me, and there was a benefit from it. Unfortunately, it was too much of a benefit, but. And if I had it to do again, I certainly would have eaten all that food, or at least if I had some water that night and the drink. There was a pitcher of water, but that went. And, it was all between the three of us.
Yeah.
And the girls, they drank it, and there just wasn't enough to get things moving. So, but not blaming anybody. It just wasn't in the cards. That's it.
Yeah.
Life happens the way life happens, good and bad. But. All right, what else, guys?
What was your reaction to the jury vote twist, the removal of a jury member?
Well, it was shocking because when it was on camera and they were talking about what it was going to be, and I thought actually that it might be me, but I could see why it was be Neil, because I think Neil would have tried persuading maybe other people on the jury to go and vote for Aubrey, because he was very pro Aubrey.
Yeah.
So it was a very calculated move on Michelle's part. She was smart doing it, game-wise, gameplay-wise, and he was probably the most dangerous person to get off for her, because he might have been able to garner some more votes with his influence with the other players, So that was a smart move. And then he doesn't even get on stage in California. I mean, he's not there. He was off camera. He's not even on the stage.
Oh, really?
Well, they kicked him off when it came time, and then he had that nasty comment. He had that nasty comment to Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just a weird comment in general.
Yeah, it was.
It was so uncalled for.
Yeah, it was uncalled for, and I know he PO'd, I guess, or whatever, but it wasn't called for. So it is what it is. So
you went out on Survivor for the experience. Did you get what you wanted out of it?
Absolutely, and then some too, because the friendships and just the experience and only 500 people ish have done this in the 16, going to be 17 years.
Yeah.
And you're part of a small fraternity slash sorority. Uh, and it's funny because when I went to this charity event, people who I didn't know from other seasons said, "Hey Joe, how you doing? Loved your season." Keith Nail and I, we were buds. I saw Keith by the pool, and I yelled at him, "Hey Keith!" And I had never met Keith. Joe, so here, even though we had not seen each other, including the other people, and even from some of the other shows, there was another couple that had won Amazing Race, and I got on the elevator and said, "Hey, how are you? I'm Joe," and they said, "Oh no, we know you. You're from Survivor." I was like, "Wow, okay." I didn't think, yeah, it
That's
was
really
awesome.
cool.
It was, it was just a very nice feeling. So yes, I got that and then some. That's why I think most people who have done it would like to do it again, because it is such an experience, even though it's kind of torturous and
Yeah.
lack of food, bugs, and that kind of stuff. It's just something about it that you want to do it again and be part of that. Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay. If Survivor was on about 30 years ago, would you still have done it?
30 years ago. Okay, so you're making me, let's see, 43 years old. Oh God, yeah, yeah.
Would you have played any differently if you were out then?
Well, I had mostly black hair back then, and you don't know. Each game is going to be different.
Yep.
Now, the next season where there are people who had played the season before or two seasons before, they're not going to necessarily play the same way because they're new people, new
Yeah.
cast members, new alliances. Maybe somebody like myself who would kind of remain in the shadows would more or less come out now, because Aubrey and I had agreed upon that hey, normally the old guy, if he tries and do directing people around, they get rid of him right away. So it was our contention that she would be like the field lieutenant, go out, make all the contacts and everything, and I would stay in the background and not show that her and I had a real tight alliance.
Awesome.
So it worked out. I mean, people said, yeah, he and Aubrey, but it wasn't like they saw us whispering and off into the woods together and stuff like that. That didn't happen. So again, people were saying, well, gee, we didn't see Joe. We didn't see Joe. Well, we kind of planned on it to be that way. And next
Ooh.
time, maybe I would take a different, route than what I did there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hear that, Jeff? Bring Joe back.
Yeah, well, I don't know where he is today. I don't know if he's
Yeah,
listening
I
here,
seriously
but-
doubt he's listening.
Yeah.
I would think so. I think you're right. I think Jeff probably has a very involved life. But, I mean, he's a very talented guy. I mean, he's a director. He's done movie stuff. It's just not Survivor.
Yep.
And he's involved in the production now, as he has been for several years. So he's a very great guy. I'm telling you what. There's no way that they could ever bring anybody in, because he is Survivor. He is the face of Survivor. He's still, after 16 years, pardon my French, he kicks ass. He's there. He's interested. He's enthused about the show. It's not fake. I mean, he really enjoys it, and that's it. And he's very professional about it. The only time we see him is, yeah, he's a great host, but the only time we see him is during the challenges. It's not like he's hanging out with us, or if you got to get pulled, and then of course then he shows up.
Yeah. So,
but otherwise, no. He's very professional, and I got to laud him for the great job he's done. And and this is the longest running reality show. It was the granddaddy of all of them.
yeah.
And now, I mean, look at the reality shows they have on all these different channels and networks and stuff. You got truck drivers this, or skydivers that, and,
Yeah.
baker moms. They got pretty much everything covered anymore. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
So if Jeff comes to your camp, it's like basically like the Grim Reaper coming to take someone.
It is, and as you know, like you've seen those shows where he shows up in the middle of the night with Terry. What's his name?
Terry Dietz.
Terry Dietz' son and everything. That's the last thing you want.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh God, and I can't imagine. I only imagine what Terry thought. Did my son die or something? Until he said, "Well, he's okay" or whatever. But you got to go home.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
But
Now we got 2 questions from Twitter, and that's it.
Okay.
At Survivor X Babe wants to know if the opportunity came up, would you play a fans versus favorite season as a favorite?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Or well, fans versus favorite, or we have villains versus good guys. I don't think I could be a villain, so I probably would have to be a
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, but absolutely, I would. Yeah. Get the vote, guys. If they
Yeah.
you
Get
have
on
the
second
power.
chance too.
I'm not going to go out there and try and say hey, vote for me. But if people thought I did okay, that's great because I did the best I could and I had fun with it and hopefully they enjoyed it.
We'll campaign for you.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thanks.
And then the other question, Tina, which is Survivor X Babe, says she is going to apply for Survivor and hit. Your time on the show really inspired her. What is the best advice for the casting process?
The best advice I can give is to be yourself. Don't just say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. Show them who you are. Don't try and be fake. Don't try and act and be something you're not. So the best advice could be just, if you have an interest in doing something, show that. If you're um, a scuba diver, if you're a skier, if you work with kids or whatever it is, and then talk to them like you would be talking to a friend. Um, they don't have to see you diving, off a building and all sorts of crazy stuff, which people have done and also have been on the show. But they just don't want to see a talking head. They would like to see, okay, tell me who you are, Joe. Tell me who you are, Aubrey, and see it and coming through with your personality, with who you are. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. Don't try and be anybody else, and just keep your fingers crossed and keep applying because people have applied multiple times and finally got on the show.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll go on until ad infinitum, as long as the sponsors keep sponsoring the show. And I think it's still number one in its time slot on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. As long as that keeps happening, then, and as long as Jeff wants to keep doing it, that show will continue. So tell her I wish her luck and just do it. As they say, Nike, just do it.
Yeah. Are you sponsored by Nike?
No. In fact, I can't wear Nikes because I have a wide foot. So I do like New Balance, though, if they're listening now. they actually have widths in their running shoes.
Yeah.
Thanks for the interview. It's very
Thanks a
appreciated.
lot.
My pleasure, guys, and thank you for bearing with me we tried putting this thing the other day, and I'm saying, are you really that dense, Joe? But we got it together today. Anyway, so listen, best of luck with you guys, too. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, be well.
You
Take
too.
care. Have a great rest of your year.
Thank you.
Talk to you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Joe.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was Joe Del Campo on Stick to the Podcast, our first Survivor player on this podcast. Is Aren still here? Okay, yeah, Aren's still here. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe for more Survivor contestant podcasts, because we're going to get more. We're going to get more.
Jason calling you out.
Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you all on the next podcast. Bye-bye.